So let's expand on, the finer criteria and how your career is focused as far as development. So first with the F, and this module is focused on, really looking at the feasibility of what you're up to and how you'd like to grow. So now you've set some career goals, and are they actually feasible? Do you have the time to acquire the skills and the expertise, or invest time to make the connections to grow that part of your career? So that really does take some introspection and writing down, what do you need in order to succeed? So what resources do you need as far as time, and maybe even expense and travel to meet with thought leaders, taking courses, and do you have a budget to make sure that this move that you're making is aligned with your career and will really, pay off later on? So you're really investing here, and this module is focused on writing down and understanding what resources in all dimensions, time invested in the developmental program you may be in, time away from home or even your family life, resources in the way of courses, really trying to drill down dollar amounts and time away and time spent to understand if the goals you're really trying to chase, so to speak, really is a feasible opportunity for you. So really, this is more of a thought and expressive exercise where you write down what it's really going to take to achieve those key goals. And once you've written those down, we'll address them in the subsequent modules to see the totality of the package that you're bringing towards your career investment. Second module here, as you're thinking about things, is this really an interesting career path for you? So what that tends to mean is focus on where your career is headed as far as the industry you're in. Is it heading in a certain direction? Is it headed in a specific realm? You may hear about things such as AI, for example, which is the hot topic. If you are looking at expanding your career, really make sure it is something that is interesting to you, interesting in your field, interesting to your organization. So check in with leaders in your organization and ask, where do you see things going in 5 or 10 years? And also check in with yourself to find or ask yourself, do I find this interesting? So when you have that alignment between your interests, where your field is going, the interesting thought processes and what the thought leaders are talking about, and the future of your field, you've really aligned yourself in an area that could be very, very good for your career. So again, write down, what are the interesting aspects of your career to date? What do you personally find interesting? And what is considered to be interesting in your field? And that does involve speaking to leaders of organizations and thought leaders in your field. So once more, really writing them down and really understanding what your interests are and where your field is going or where you'd like to go is quite important. The next exercise is centered around novelty. So following this is, are you really pursuing an area that'll bring novelty to your career or is novel to you, so you have that interest? Because generally speaking, new concepts, new ideas that are fresher tend to really be exciting. So is what you're really trying to achieve something you've done in the past and you're just repeating it? Or are you trying to actually grow and bring some new and acquire novel skills that will keep enhancing your career growth and development beyond your current situation? So novelty is not just limited to doing something new, it's also about acquiring new skills, new relationships, and building new networks. So is this career goal that you're really trying to achieve, does it really expand your skills, and does it really bring in fresh voices and fresh faces into your career, which could be really, really excellent at accelerating your development and amplifying your success? So really write those down and really understand, am I bringing or acquiring new skills? Am I building a new network? Am I doing something that will potentially generate new opportunities? And think about those opportunities in granular details, and that's very helpful. E, ethical. Are you in an ethical area, an area that's been well vetted? That's the first. And also, how is your personal conduct? Is it ethical? So that really doesn't require a ton of explanations, but really a yes and no. And if you are certainly not in an ethical field and you do not believe your actions are ethical and they don't align with your moral principles, then you should avoid that and really work in the ethical framework to make sure that you're impacting your field, your career, your family in a positive way. Relevancy. So what's relevant in 2023 may not be relevant in 2033, and what's relevant in your current career path should also have some relevancy in your future career path. So this is about thinking about the building blocks in what you've achieved in your career. So in your career, you've had some success, you've had some achievements that was based on experience at work, potentially based on schooling experience, but that has some value. And is the future area that you're trying to grow in relevant to what you've done? Sometimes it doesn't have to be directly related to it, but the skills that you've obtained should have some relevancy to where you're trying to get to in that new dimension, that new role, that new leadership opportunity. So really making sure that this new area that you're pursuing has relevancy to what you've done in the past. So you've set up yourself, to use a sports analogy, you've played on the so-called farm team to now join the big club. So in order for you to achieve that goal, you really want to understand what have you done to date and write those down. And what are you aiming for in the future and write those down, and understand the relationship and understand what skills that you've built that'll be relevant to where you're headed to. And with that, you have the closure of the final module. Thank you for joining this module and reviewing this module. And this really is an expressive part of the Notch Academy, where you write this down and hopefully allows you to get some clarity as to what you've done, where you've been, and where you're going, and applying principles from research, in this case, the finer criteria which we use for academic work to your career, really is very helpful in defining and helping you amplify your growth over time.